Hey everyone, it's Bobby, and I am here to share with you a project that I created for Country Craft Creations Homemade Hop. This is a little tote bag, measures approximately 7 by 5 when finished. That's the base part here, and then the handles are separate, of course. And inside this little tote, I have a wallet folio. Now I've done a tutorial already for this project, and it will be following this walkthrough. But the first thing you need to do before you make your tote is to make your little wallet folio so that you have perfect measurements so that it will fit inside. So for the tote, I've just used papers from my favorite fall, and I think it's Cardabella. Let me see. Oh, it's Echo Park. It's this fall collection. It was in one of the older collections, and it was in my mystery box that I got last time. So I used those papers to embellish the outside. I had intended to put little brads here, but because of the color of my design paper, my little brads didn't really show up, so I thought, why waste them? So, but I did make some flowers with dies that I had in my stash. And these little styrofoam baubles there, they came off of a garland that I had in my stash for a long time. I'll show you. It had some little acorns on it that I wanted, is why I bought it. And I never did use it. It's all stuck in my bag here. It's just a bunch of fall leaves, and it's got this huge flower, which I'll probably never use. But I do like the leaves, and I used cut off a couple pieces of these little styrofoam baubles, and then there's little miniature acorns in here, and that's what I really wanted. So I did put one acorn in there, but I took a pair of scissors and I kind of cut it in half so that it would lay flat on the back side. And then I just used some twine and a ribbon that I had in my stash to make a little bow on the handle. And the back is just like the front without all the adornment. And then I did line the inside with some more of the paper gingham check. So the little folio opens with a ribbon, and it does have a magnet in it, but mine got so full I thought I better have a ribbon just to make sure, because I wasn't sure if the magnet was going to hold up. So on the front of the cover, I just used some of the stickers and just kind of layered them together with a little bow. And I have a set of dies that make doilies, which I love using because it just sets the back apart. And then these are just some little scallop dies that I had in my stash, and I put one of the stickers in the center. So when you open it, you have an envelope on each side. And I don't have anything in my envelopes at this point, but you can put photo mats or journaling or little pieces of memorabilia in there. And this is from the sticker sheet, says miniature pumpkins. And then on the right hand side, I just have a couple photo mats with a little journaling spot there where you can put names or a date, whatever you might want to make a note of. And then here's your envelope on the right side with another sticker that holds it down. And then on the center, I just have, I have 7 photo mats in here, but mine got pretty full, so unless you increase the spine here, I would say put 5. So on my tutorial, I listed 5. Now this is a little tuck spot here where you can add photos or what have you. And then it just lifts up, and then I just have a little bracket here with a corn sticker and 2 little photo mats tucked in here, and they're just plain on the back. That has a sticker that needs to come off. I missed that, shame on me. There we go, got rid of that. Okay, and then these photo corners, I do have a tutorial showing you how to make these, and I'll show you real quick as I go through the tutorial, and I'll also leave you a link so you can go watch it in depth if you want to make some. It's just with a corner punch. They're really super easy to make, and I have each one of them. This one just has 2 on it, but you can see my photo mats are loose so that you can take them out and replace them with photos, or you could actually glue them down and use them as your backing. This one just has a little border trim holding it in. And this one's the same. And it just goes all the way through to the back. But you can see how full mine got. So let's do our folio first, and then we'll follow it up with the tutorial on the tote. So the first thing you're going to need, let me get this ribbon tied up. First thing you need for the folio is 2 pieces of 8x8, and I'm just using some plain white that a generic cardstock that I had in my stash for the tutorial, because I don't have enough paper to make another one. So what you're going to need is your 8x8, and you're going to put it in your scoreboard or your envelope punch board. It doesn't matter which side first because it's 8x8, and you're going to line it up at 3.5, and you're going to punch and score, and then you're going to go around just like you normally do, lining up your little notch here with the score line, and you're going to score and punch all the way around on both of these. I've already got mine scored to save time. So then you're going to fold under on all your score lines and burnish to make your little envelopes. Okay, let me fold the other one up just so I can show you, because this won't be anything that I keep. This is just, like I said, generic cardstock, but I wanted to show you how to put it together. It's really super simple and quick. So there's your 2 envelopes. Now you need a piece of, what did I measure it at? I wrote it down, but I've got my computer on the wrong area right now. 9 3/4 by 4 3/8. Let me get my scoreboard out here. And we need to score this. At 3/4 and 1.5. And then we're going to turn it around. Opposite side, 3/4 and 1.5. Okay. Now let's burnish these score lines. This is going to be the base of your folio. Now you're going to take your envelope and you're going to attach it to the inside of this first 3/4 like this. Just like that. Now mine is just, I could have cut mine just a little bit more than 4 3/8. So measure yours after you've made your envelopes and make sure that you are exactly the same. I might have cut this wrong, who knows. I have been known to do that before. So you're going to attach this with the flap inside. And you're going to go to the score line, but not over. You got to leave yourself room to fold it. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing with the opposite side. Attach our envelope over here. See, that one matches perfectly, so I must have done something when I folded that one. Wouldn't be the first time. But if yours turns out just a little bit too long, just pull down on it a little bit and kind of force your score to match. So then when you fold it up, this will be your spine. When you fold it up, it will go like this. And then when you add your design paper, it's going to cover this up here. And I added a magnet. I must have put it up here. I don't remember. Here. Oh, I added it here and inside the envelope before I matted it. Now, in order to mat these envelopes, you're also going to cut your design paper 8 by 8. Now, you can take it to the scoreboard and score it at 3.5, just like you did the envelopes. But you really don't have to. I think I tell you on the tutorial to go ahead and score it, but not punch it. But if you will put it over your envelope, just like this, and get the measurement that you want. Let me get a pencil. Get the measurement that you want. And you can see the edge over here, so make a little mark right here. And can't see it on this side too well. I can feel it though. So I'm going to make a mark right here. Now I'm going to trim that off. And I may have to do a little trim work, but that's okay. So I'm going to put it in my cutter and line up those 2 pencil marks. And I'm going to cut that off. And you see, when I put it down, I can actually stand to take just a hair off of this, but not much more than that. Let me take just a little snip off of it. I'll lay it on here and see what I've got. That is perfect right there. So all you need to do is make a mark on both sides where it stops. And you can cut it with your scissors, or you can freehand it, whatever. And just line it up with one of your straight edges on your cutter. And cut it off. Now your envelope kind of leaves a rounded corner. See how it's a little bit rounded? I just took an emery board and now I don't see one. Oh, there's one. I just took an emery board and just kind of went around the edges just a tiny bit, just to take that sharp point off. And that's all it takes. And then here is your mat. Perfect. No problem at all. And then I just used the A side of paper on the top and the bottom flaps, and then I flipped it over and I used the B side on the sides, so that I had a little variation. I'll show you again. See, this is the A side and this is the B side. And then I did the same thing over here, A side and B side. And that's all there is to making this little tote. For your pieces in the center, I have those on your cut list at 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. And with the 4 3/4 at the top of your scoreboard, you're going to score each one at a 1/2 inch. And just stack one right on top of the other. Okay, let me get a little scrap of paper and show you how I made those photo corners. And then we'll go on to the tote tutorial. Okay. Since I am not using the rest of this rust color. This is just a offbeat cardstock that I had in my stash. I just need a 2x2 square. So let me put this in here at 2 inches. And at 2 inches again. These are so easy to make, and you can use your little tiny scraps for this. Okay. And we're going to score it in half at 1 inch. And turn it one time and score it at 1 inch again. And let me see if I've got a punch out here I can grab real quick. I've just got a couple out here. It doesn't make any difference which one I got. This one is, these are old Martha Stewart punches that I've had forever and ever. And you're just going to put one corner in your punch. Make sure that it's in there square. Punch that corner. And then, where's my scissors? I got scissors here somewhere. Oh, here they are. I'm going to fold and burnish these 2 lines. Now the square opposite of what you punched, you're going to take that one out. You don't need it anymore. And then we're just going to trim these up just a little bit. Just angle cut them. And trim a little bit off the length of them, because you don't need that either. Now let's get a little snip off of here. And off of here. And then, like I said, I'll put a link in the description box so you can go look at the tutorial I did. Let me take a little bit more off of this length. It just needs to overlap a little in the back so that you can glue them together. Okay, so we're going to put a little dot of glue right here. And I didn't put my pin in it, wouldn't you know? Where is my pin? Well, bummer. I had it a minute ago. Come on, glue bottle. Don't mess with me now. There we go. Just a little bit of glue. Doesn't take much. You don't want it to ooze out. And there you go. There's your little photo corner. Let me grab a scrap here. I'll grab the envelope. And you just put it right over your corner just like that. Makes you a photo corner. Isn't that cute? You can do it with any corner punch that you have. Any design that you have. Super cute. And they're easy, super easy to do, and just out of a little 2x2 square. So there you go, guys. That's it. I'm going to pause this just a second so I can get everything out for the other tutorial. And I'll be right back. So, what we have is 2 pieces of lightweight chipboard, and they measure 5x7, and then I have cardstock in the dark brown Artisan that is 7x9. So I have 1 inch around all 4 sides, and this is Tammy's 3-part wrap. Very simple and easy to do. I have my score tape on all the pieces, the sides, and I will add art glitter glue right here where the fold is, and then just roll it in. So that will take care of those 2 pieces. Then the spine is 1.5 by 7, I think. Yes. And I have 1.5 inches on each side and 1 inch at the top and bottom. And this will be wrapped as well. And then I have 2 pieces that are 1.5 by 2. and the cardstock is 3.5 by 4.5. 2 pieces, and those will be your little side brackets. So I am going to put these together, and if you have not seen Tammy's tutorial or mine, and I think some of the other designers have made a tutorial on this wrap as well, just check out the YouTube channels, follow the directions for building. It's very simple. This way I can save time on my video by doing it off camera. So I'm going to remove my tape and I'm going to glue these down, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, I have my 3 pieces put together here to make the base of the tote, and it's going to stand up like this. This way it would be a perfect album cover, wouldn't it? Okay, so next thing we need is to prepare our handles. And I did do the side pieces. I just added them, and I draw an arrow sideways when I cut it, just to remind myself, so I know in case my paper is directional, I know which way it goes. My design paper, that is. So these are going to go on the side like this, once we have our design paper on it, and that makes your little side bracket. So I have just wrapped them on the top and the bottom, scored them, and got them in shape, and then rounded the corners. Now for the 2 handles, we have 2 pieces, and I've prepared one of them. We have 2 handles that are 12 by 2.5, and you're going to score it at 1 and 2. Leaves a 1/2 inch edge. Then I go back to the 1 inch side, the first edge, and I trim off just a tiny hair, just to make sure that I don't have any overhang when I put it together. So we're going to burnish these score lines. Make sure that it's all under the edge. It is. The point in taking this off is you don't want this edge to overlap and hang out. And a lot of times it will. Especially if you're off on your cut at all, it will make a difference. And sometimes we all get off the beam. So plenty of glue on there. Trying to go over my edge. And we're going to glue this down. Burnish it really good. And then like I did this one, you want to round your corners on both ends. And then take your flat edge of your bone folder and just kind of stroke across it a few times and break down those fibers so it'll start curling and make a handle. Just softens it up a little bit so it doesn't crease and it bends for you. So that is your handle, and it will fasten like this. And we'll punch holes a little bit later, but for now I need to cut some design paper. Have to do that to the outside before we put our handles on. Alright, I'll be back with you as soon as I cut my design paper. Okay, we have our album base put together. I have cut my design paper, and I have a Kraft color that is 5 7/8 by 4 7/8, and then I just use smaller pieces of my design paper and a little strip of the Kraft, and I'm going to put this down with some art glitter glue. Sure I get plenty of glue because I don't want it to move around on me. I want to stay right where I put it because we're going to punch holes in this for our handles. So this one goes right here. And just leave a dark brown small margin. Now I have a second one, and you need to turn it around this time because this is top. And we'll glue this one down. Oop. A little overzealous there. Okay. This one down. And then I have a small strip for the bottom or base. Has the little tractor on it. And it will go right in here. Just like that. Beautimus, beautimus, beautimus. Okay, now we have our handles to attach so that we can do our insides. Oh, and I did put a piece of Kraft on the inside. So we need to decide how we want our little handles. And I think I want mine about the, get a measurement on that. So I want the edge to be 1 inch, and this is 1 inch, so we're going to come in 1.5 inches and down about, maybe not quite that far, down from the top. Let me see. Down from the top about about 3/4. So 1 inch and then 3/4. So we're going to come in 1 inch, and I need a pencil. Oh, there it is. There's 1 inch right there. And 3/4 will be right here. Huey, don't start. So we want those two to match right here. Right where that X is. So let's go about 3/4 down, right here, and 1 inch in from the side. And that will be right here. And for this, I said 1.5 inches and I measured 1 inch. I'll have to move over 1/2 inch. I want this to be okay, at least 1/2 inch above the design paper. So let me measure right here in the center. I want to punch it right there. Okay, I'm going to punch my holes and I'll be right back because it makes a lot of noise when I do that. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, let's attach our handles. We're going to use brads, and we're going to put them through this hole, and spread out the prongs. And I don't have one of those setter tools, so I have to mash them down as best I can. These are kind of stiff. Okay, we'll bring this one around to the opposite side. Through here, and one through that hole, and we'll do the same thing. I'll try to mash that down as best I can. Okay, we'll go around to the back side and do the other handle. One more. Now you can see why we spend a little time curving them so they don't crack and get a crease in them. You want them just to curve. Okay, there's that one. Now we can put our paper on the inside before we put the side pieces down. Makes it a little bit easier. And this one is non-directional, so it doesn't make any difference if it's front or back or up or down. So we're going to put these in here. Ourselves just a little border again. This one, I'm just turning it around because it's easier for me to eyeball the edges when it's closer to me. And then we have a piece to go in here. Just like that. that makes our little tote. And I will cut my pieces for the outside of the side panel, and I'll be right back. And then we'll have it all put together and be ready to embellish it. Alright, we're ready to attach these little side pieces, and I'm going to attach mine about where this orange stripe is. And let me give you a measurement in case you don't have a paper like that. The top edge of this little bracket is 1.5 inches from the top. And you can see I put a little piece of paper on the inside to match this, so it'll look pretty. And I'm going to add, this glue bottle has given me more fits than any I've ever had. I don't know what its problem is. Anyway, we're going to add our glue in here. Plenty of it. And around the edges, make sure it's going to stay put in these little curves. So I'm going to attach this side right at the top of that orange stripe, and I'm going to push it up to the edge, add a clothespin, and then I'm going to wrap it around to the other side and do the same thing. This paper is not quite the same, so let me make sure I've got 1.5 inches. Okay, we're good. I'm going to press that into place and put another clothespin on it. And we'll go around to the other side and do the same thing. So I want to get my pumpkins up right here. This stripe. Press it into place. Put our clothespins on it. Wrap it around. And check my measurement. It's in there good and straight. And we'll put clothespins on this side. And we'll let that set up. Now, once that is set up, then I'm going to take these little smaller brads. I've got glue and ink everywhere. And I'm going to attach one in each of the corners with hot glue so that it looks like it's actually riveted on there. And then I cut the legs off of it. These little flanges, I cut them off with these snips. And I'm going to attach them with hot glue, but I'm going to give this about, probably 10-15 minutes to make sure it's really on there good. And then we'll be ready to embellish it, and you can embellish it however you like. I was thinking about using a cut apart, but the ones that I had picked out are really too large for the front of this, so I'm going to look for something else, but I'll find, and probably some flowers, something to dress it up. But I'll be back with you shortly and show you what I picked out to embellish the front with. Okay, I've basically decided what I want to do with the front of this little tote, and you can see my little album fits in there perfectly. I really like that. I think it's so cute. What I've done is most of the cut-aparts were too large for the front of this, so I took a circle die and I cut out this little thing off of one of the smaller cut-aparts. Just says pick your own pumpkin patch, and then I'm going to layer it on white Kraft and then again on white, and I have cut out some flowers. Let me see if you can see these. Yeah, with dies that I had in my stash. I'll show you. I have two. This set of flower dies, I'm not sure where it came from. I just put it on a magnetic strip and put it in a little plastic bag. Got orange marmalade ink all over me from inking these flowers. But it's the larger one, and I only used the larger one on the white one for the center. And then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different dies in it. And then for the leaves, I used this one, and I'm not sure. I think it might be a Spellbinders, but I'm not sure. And this one, I'm not sure at all, but I used those two for the leaves. And just some of the paper out of the collection. And then I had a strip of garland that I got at a local outlet, and it had these little tiny pine cones in it. But they were completely round and they stuck out too far, so I took my scissors and cut them in half and kind of flattened them on the back side so I can use those. And then that garland also had these little berries, so I might pull a few of those off. They're just little styrofoam balls, but they're cute and they have all the right colors. So that's what I'm going to put on the front, and I will be back. I'll probably tie a ribbon around the handle with maybe a couple of metal embellishments, but I will come back and explain to you how I assembled the little album that's inside this tote. Alright,